And now, coming to you live from high atop the Denham Spring Towers, we are pleased to bring you a live broadcast of the Ray Anderson Show. So crank up those speakers and throw some extra coffee in your cup. And to get in on today's show, we will be taking your phone calls, texts, emails, and tweets. The show is just about to start with your host, Ray Anderson.
Keep your business accounts organized with all the digital tools, convenience, and security you need. Get the most bang for your buck with a business checking account at your local Gulf Coast Bank and Trust.
What you're looking for.
Hey, are you hungry? Then I might suggest the Yellow Brick House in Denham Springs. At the Yellow Brick House, we're open for breakfast and lunch Monday through Thursday, 6 a.m. to 2 p.m., and Sunday brunch, 9 a.m. to 2 p.m., and they're closed on Fridays and Saturdays. For breakfast, enjoy our cinnamon rolls, biscuits, sausage biscuits, egg and cheese biscuits, omelets, and much more. And for lunch, we feature filet mignon sandwich, an 8-ounce chuck burger dressed as you like, and the best daily specials around, like black and prime rib, bang bang shrimp, panade chicken, beef stew, fried chicken, and more. The Yellow Brick House, 535 Florida Avenue, Denham Springs. And then there's Sunday brunch, always spectacular. You're thinking in a grand hotel. The Yellow Brick House, 535 Florida Avenue, Denham Springs. We encourage you to relax and let us do the cooking. Enjoy our breakfast and daily specials. Hours Monday through Thursday, 6 a.m. to 2 p.m., Sunday brunch, 9 a.m. to 2 p.m., and we're closed on Fridays and Saturdays. The Yellow Brick House, 535 Florida Avenue, Denham Springs, or call ahead, 225-271-4331. And remember, we have a drive-thru.
And we're live almost at the Yellow Brick House, 535 Florida Avenue in Denham Springs, Louisiana. Y'all come on out and see this wonderful breakfast buffet they had this morning. Lunch buffet, excuse me, breakfast is over with. I'll give you a description of the lunch buffet in a minute, but right now I just want to introduce y'all, and we're still having little camera problems, to Mr. Dave Young, who is a paranormal expert. Now, I've been knowing Dave, I think since the 80s, huh? When did you buy that house on Green Acres?
Oh, shoot, that was 1979.
And then we came along, right?
Yeah.
So, 80, 81, something like that. And I don't know if I followed him to the South Shore, to the North Shore, or he followed me, but anyway, we both live in the Mandeville, Avita Springs, Covington area. So, Dave, how long have you been doing this paranormal stuff? And explain to the people exactly what it is that you do.
Well, I've been involved with it, accidentally, I guess, since I was 10 years old. I had an incident that occurred that scared the hell out of me, and I was just, ran screaming into my parents' room, and my old man, who's an Okinawa Marine, said I was screaming like a girl and kicked me back out. So I had to go sleep on the couch. But after that, I started thinking, this is a weird world out there. It wasn't a dream when I saw. And so I found a book, by a guy named Harry Price. It was about it's a rectory Morley Rectory in England. So I read that and I got fascinated with it. He was the original ghost hunter. And, I went off to college and stuff and lived in a house with a bunch of other guys, and we had activity in the house. So I went to the psychology department. At the time I was a pre-med psychiatry student. And so I went to the psychology department and I asked them about ghosts, and they looked at me like I peed in their punch bowl. We don't talk about that stuff around here. You need to go talk to Dr. Shirley Johnson, who is a sociologist at UNO. And just so happens I was in her class, so I didn't know she was a paranormal investigator. So I got to hang with her, understanding the whole process and about ghosts and stuff. And then she invited me along on one of her investigations. And I was more of a grunt, helping move things around and stuff. And That was an active night, and it just got me hooked, and I became fascinated with it. And at 19, I had my first paranormal investigation that I did, and I didn't do well on that. I scared the hell out of people. But one of the things about being a paranormal investigator is you come into a situation and you try to calm everything down. You know, like let's just take this as some form of science, maybe laws of physics we don't understand, and let's see what we can do about ameliorating the activity and maybe, if possible, have it removed. But the process is different for every person. First of all, you have to discern whether or not these people are, crazy or not.
Aren't we all?
Yeah, we are. But one of the things that I do ask people, and I admit to them when I first talk to them, I said, look, I'm going to ask you really personal questions. I'm going to ask you stuff, that just doesn't go beyond this conversation, this room. Are you on any kind of psychotropic drugs? Are you on any kind of medications whatsoever? I asked this one guy who was seeing things in his house in Springfield, Louisiana, and he was a strange cat. And I go, are you being treated for anything, at all? He goes, yes, I'm being treated for schizophrenia. I said, oh, okay, all right. And I'm thinking, okay, maybe he's taking some Thorazine or something like that, something. I said, well, what are you taking for that? He says, ibuprofen. That's ibuprofen. That's for headaches. Oh, no, that's what the doctor prescribed me, doc prescribed to me. And I, kind of looked at my watch. Oh, look at the time.
Gotta go.
I gotta go. But then, every situation is different. 9 times out of 10, it's probably going to be explainable. It might be a loose pipe in the attic or something like that. That's the old common, thing that people talk about. But then you come into situations that are really, really dark, and you got to get your act together and stuff. Now, I have no problem calling in priests. I call them the Catholic Cavalry. Priests are interesting cats. I mean, I have a good friend of mine, Father Bo, and he explained a lot of things to me. He thinks that originally he thought all ghosts were demons. They're demonic entities. They're lying. They're playing games with you. They'll show up as your Aunt Molly or something like that just to mess with you. And I said, well, for what purpose? That was my question. For what purpose do they come in and do that? He couldn't really rightly explain that to me. And then more studies. Recently, I'm finding out that the Catholic Church actually has a policy about ghosts. It's not just about demonic entities. So, there's so many. That's a loaded question, I guess. There's so many things that go on in an investigation. You have to pay attention to. You document as much as you can. When there's kids involved, I try to make it a science project. To take the fear out of it. And I get some graph paper and I have them draw an outline of the house. It says, okay, well, we smelled rose in this room in the corner. I said, all right, what day was that? Oh, that was last Wednesday around 9 a.m. I said, okay, let's put a 1 in that corner, and then over here on the column, put 1, 9 a.m. on a Wednesday, we smelled rose scents, And then we heard walking down the hallway. Okay, mark that number 2, put a 2 down the hallway at the time and everything. And what you're looking for are patterns, and you try to determine whether it's an intelligent spirit, which, as crazy as that sounds, there's intelligent spirits, or it might be residual energy just playing back on a recording. They're just laws of physics we haven't understood yet.
Hi, let me tell you about the Mess on Net shop. They're at 2727 Britannia Street. Their website is MAISONETTE. Don't forget to, look them up on the internet. Now, they've mastered custom at the Mess on Net. They got antique bed covers, classic yachts, needing new custom-sized mattresses and sheets, recreating new towels to match the old discontinued style, and creating custom monograms from sketch. No job is too big or too small. Their collection of luxury products, quality craftsmanship, and expert workrooms, both domestic and international, make them the go-to for custom linens on land, sea, and air. Contact them with a list of your needs, or to learn more about their process, go to the shop, 2727 Britannia, TTESHOP.com, or call them up, 504 437-1850. They're open.
Energy just playing back on a recording. They're just laws of physics we haven't understood yet. So there's a lot to it.
Well, let me interrupt you for a second. Is there an incident that you can talk about today that you really, really know in your heart that it was something from the other side that you personally witnessed?
Yeah, I can give you a few of those. I have seen personally. I've seen 6 ghosts. One I followed down the hallway thinking it was my wife, and turned out to be.
Oh, wait a minute! I met your wife. She's not spooky.
No, she's not. But this woman was a blonde walking down, and my wife was in the house, but I didn't realize she went in a different direction. I went into a little cove area of this brand new home, and I come out into the hallway, and there's this woman walking down the hallway, and she was blonde hair and stuff. Husbands don't pay attention. And I follow this woman talking to her, thinking I was talking to Karen. And we go into this room, there's nobody there. And I okay, you're in the closet. Okay, you're trying to hide from me. And I open up, and holy crap. Then I hear her on the other side of the house, and I stood there for a good minute, like, what the hell was that? And the one that really got me, there's this, it's an abandoned building. It's in Jackson, Louisiana. Are you familiar with Jackson?
I'm familiar with the city, but not probably what you're going to talk about.
It's north of Baton Rouge. It's actually a town where the insane asylum is. That's been in operation since 1840. But there's also a Dixon Correctional Institute there.
I've heard of that.
I think it's a medium facility. I'm not sure. And then there's the Feliciana Forensic Unit. And that is where the worst of the worst criminals go to in the state of Louisiana. They have psychos in there. They're only allowed outside 1 hour a day. And I work on medical equipment for a living, and I got a call from that forensic unit that they have broken equipment in the medical department. So I had to go there and leave it to me to arrive there when when those guys are out of their jail cell, and they're all lined up along the fence. I told my wife, I said, I could have gotten a date that day.
And saying, new me.
And so, anyway, the guards, I asked, I said, what's that building across the way? He goes, oh, that's the first criminally insane prison for women in the state of Louisiana. It's called the Colony. And I go, really? I've never heard of it. And it sits there, the doors are open, and so, I got curious, and I decided I was going to go, next time I come through there, I was going to go inside and see what it looked like. And so I did. I brought my gear, I brought my meters and my recorders, my camera, and I just walked around, and when you walk right into that place, you immediately, it's heavy, really heavy, because all the atrocities probably took place in that building. And I'm walking around, not getting any activity, and so I stopped, and went to my car, and I put away all my gear, and I'm parked out in front, and all of a sudden, bang, bang, bang on my car door. And I'm thinking I'm going to be turning, and there's going to be a Feliciana cop right there, a parish cop, that I'm trespassing. No, it was a dude, it was a black dude, and he reminded me of Morgan Freeman. He sort of had sort of a white shock of hair and a white scraggly beard, and he was in white scrubs, cotton scrubs, and above the pocket in red letters DCI, which is understood as Dixon Correctional Institute. And he's yelling at me, get out, you're not supposed to be here. And I rolled down the window. I said, chill, man, chill. I'm just taking pictures. I'm leaving now. I'm leaving. And then he banged on my car again. Get out. You're not supposed to be there. And he's pointing at the highway. And this is like 10 o'clock in the morning, beautiful sunny day. And I wanted to see what he was banging my car with, So I leaned out to the window of my car to see if he had any kind of weapon or anything, because it sounded like metal against metal. And I couldn't see anything in his hands. His hands were by his side. And I looked up at him, and I go, man, what are you? And then I couldn't even finish the sentence. His head is turned and looking at me, and his face changed into a grimace, and his eyes went totally white. And I went, oh, shit, and put the car in reverse and backed up about 20 feet. And I looked back, and there was nobody there. And there's no way anybody could have gotten away at that point, because, it was kind of out in the open. It was good 20, 30 feet before any kind of, you can go by a tree or something like that. There's no way he could have gotten away. And I sat there for a good 30 minutes trying like, okay, am I going crazy? What's going on? You know, daily life going on behind me, cars going by on the highway. And I said, what did I just experience? So it got me curious. So I did a lot of work at the charity hospital up in Baton Rouge called OK Long. And I would see guards bringing in prisoners. You know, and they would have these white zip-up bunny suits, they call them. They're just disposable, you know, white disposable suits. And I would ask them if they ever had cotton scrubs. And anyway, to make a long story short, I was in the hallway one day and I saw this guard walk past, and he had a patch on his arm. He was chief of guards. And anyway, chief of guards. He ended up, he was a nice guy. I stopped him and I said, look, sir, if I was trespassing, I apologize, but I got to know. And I told him the story, what happened, and he said, 2 reasons I believe you. He said, did you see any guards with that man? And I said, no. He said, even our most trusted trustees would have, a guard with him. Secondly, he said, that uniform you described, if he had turned around, you would have seen large letters across his back and read DCI. He said, son, he said, we stopped using those uniforms in 1978. You saw a ghost. And I'm sitting there, as he walked in, got on the elevator, I'm stood there and I said, wow, I told a ghost to chill. And so I became more curious about that, so I got in touch with Dixie Correctional Institute and asked if there was a possibility I could look at, the scrapbooks of all the prisoners over there, maybe I could recognize them. And the lady says, I tell you what, I'm going to have some retired guards contact you. If they know of anything, they'll let you know. Well, sure enough, a retired guard got in touch with me. He said, I know exactly who you're talking about. This man was released, and he couldn't cut it on the outside. He became homeless. And that building you were in became his new home. And we felt sorry for him. We used to bring him old uniforms. But sir, he died of exposure in that building 10 years before you met him. And I'm sitting there thinking, wow. I mean, he was as solid as you, Ray. I mean, it was amazing. I just found it fascinating that, this man came out of nowhere. Apparently, I was trespassing in his home, and he wanted me to get out.
All right, well, we're going to take a little break and talk about our advertising, run a couple of commercials, and don't forget to do business with those that do business with us.
All right, we are here, our first day at Haydell's Bake Shop. We are here fueled by French Market Coffee, Haydell's Bake Shop. .3117 Magazine Street, which was also the score of the Super Bowl when the Saints played the Indianapolis Colts. We won by a score of 31-17. There's good luck with this place, you guys. So here we are live at Haydell's Bake Shop. Hi. We've got Amber. Hi. Come on. I don't know if anybody's watching. All right, anyway, I was just outside, and the number to Haydell's Bake Shop, the street address, is 3117. That's right, customers first. Just so you know, 3117 was the score of the Super Bowl when the Saints beat the Indianapolis Colts. We won by 31-17. So this spot, y'all, is lucky. It's a lucky spot. But in addition to great pastries, we've got some great items that you can take home with you if you're visiting. French Market coffee mugs, like there. We also have Aunt Sally's pralines and French Market ground coffee to go. Gift items like dish towels, which are awesome and pack easily in your suitcase. And speaking of cases, we also have pastries in these cases. We got full Joe Bash cakes, gator cakes, which are my favorite. We got Russian cakes, carrot cakes, which are, I don't know if you've never had carrot cake from Haydell's. Oh, it is. They shave the carrots, grate them down, put them into the mixture. It is the best. We got your grab and go waters, Cokes, Pellegrinos, your French Market cold brews, and then don't forget your almond croissants, your mini pecan pies, your muffins, your almond kugelhopps, turnovers. You've got almond cakes that are ready and decorated for you to take home, cookie cake bars, turtles, cookie cakes, small turtles, pedophores, and then my personal favorite, y'all, the mini wedding cake. You do not need a wedding invitation to enjoy the best wedding cake in New Orleans. You can come get your own mini wedding cake here at Haydell's Bake Shop. So come see us. And also, if you love the smell of Haydell's products, you can take it home with you as well. This is the almond wedding cake candle. I wish you could smell through this. So can get the king cake version as well. It's always Mardi Gras time. Anyway, specialty decorated cookies, great, so much more. So come see us at Haydell's Bake Shop.
Keep your business accounts organized with all the digital tools, convenience, and security you need. Get the most bank for your buck with a business checking account at your local Gulf Coast Bank and Trust.
What you're looking for.
And don't forget, do business with those that do business with us. And I hate to keep apologizing every week, but I think Dave brought the Goonies with him today because everything was working fine before he walked in the door.
Well, they heard about the crawfish etouffee and the all the
I don't know.
tacos, and so they came out of their netherworld and they joined me.
And everything just went off. So I'm doing this really, really old school. But I promise y'all, maybe by the end of the year we'll get it all under control. Because, I mean, I bought a new laptop. I bought a new hard drive from the one that fried up last week. I got a new mixer board. And the only thing I don't have is new microphones. But the microphones, they work. See that bouncing up here. But don't forget, do business with those that do business with me. And we have Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the home loan department. Go see my friend Joe Uzi. And we have,
Joe.
you know Joe?
Yeah.
Joe's a great guy.
He married a grease digger.
He did. And go see that's on that at 2727 Britannia Street. It's a great linen shop. But look, they make custom sails and sheets and spreads for boats or your mattress in a boat and land, what they call them, motorhome land yachts. And I believe they've even done some seats in airplanes. And then also Party Rentals. It's on the website, WRAYAnderson.com. You can go see that. And also next week, we hope to have y'all texting in questions at 985-212-8121. And we're gonna have the phone line, which is right here. However, thanks to the poltergeist that just walked in,
I got some holy water in the car.
I gave you some. Let me have that for a second. That's what y'all drink. Body on the water. Good stuff. And that's not it's a commercial, but you're not paying me for that. You're not even giving me free water. That's what I buy and I drink. I used to drink tap water, but I found out that is a whole lot better. So Dave, let's continue you. And so you found out that this guy had died 10 years before you got there, and then continue with your story.
Well, that was just a matter of me being warned off by something that was inside the house. I've been warned before. I've been called out before by name in a house by voices you couldn't see. Get out. Things like that. It's sort of like in a bad movie, almost like in a corny movie. But since then, that building has been sealed up. It's the state came along and they put metal plates on all the doors and all the windows, so nobody can break in or go into that place because it was becoming a very attractive spot to go for amateur ghost hunters and such. I brought my wife along one time, along with her friend, and Karen couldn't even walk through 10 feet into the door without, I can't stay in here. Something there. I hear women laughing and joking. Well, she was feeling dizzy, and she's a bit of a sensitive and stuff, so she stepped outside into the fresh air. And her friend and I were walking around, and I had a recorder going. And so when I played it back, when she said that, I could hear women laughing and cutting up on my recorder. So she heard that and then just called about. So I haven't been back since.
That's the fettuccine right there.
Oh,
Usually I have them show it to the camera, but I can't turn all this around today.
that looks.
That's a plateful, huh?
That's a plateful, right? I'm definitely gonna try that. So, but that's one place. That's one of the many places. You know, we've been to. You know, a lot of my exploits are on Facebook. I'm setting up a web page right now, paladinparanormal.com. But if you go to
Wait, say that again slow.
paladinparanormal.com, it's PALADIN paranormal.com. It hasn't been set up yet. It's still in the process. I'm having somebody working on it. But in the meanwhile, I have a Facebook page. Same thing, Paladin Paranormal. It's PALADIN Paranormal, and the icon is a black chess piece, a knight.
The knight.
Yes. And so you can go there. I've had that for years. I have a lot of my investigations up there. Only the ones that the family or the clients allow me to put up, and 9.5 times out of 10 they ask me not to. So I don't.
Well, I would imagine that the house would be swamped.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't do that, and I just set up some of the ones we did in public locations like the Myrtles Plantation. I investigated that place 34 times, spent 34 nights in that haunted location. Which I can give it a plug. If you have Netflix, check out Files of the Unexplained on Netflix, episode 2. And I just discuss my experiences at the Myrtles Plantation. But I'm also on Discovery on the Travel Channel. It's a show called The World's Most Unexplained, and I go into more details about the Myrtles Plantation. That's episode 4 on The World's Most Unexplained. If you have Discovery Plus or Travel Channel, you can catch it on reruns.
I turned on the TV. I must have been watching something on one of those two channels, you know, like the night before or whatever. And Jamie and I, we got into bed. I turned on the TV, and there you and Karen on TV. I said, "Man, wake up, wake up."
I was also on Ghost Adventures. I actually played a part, and I got murdered on the front porch of the Myrtles Plantation. I played William Winter, and I was shotgunned on the front porch. And then they had me filming all
Let me
kinds
see your ear.
Yeah, my ear's okay. And actually, I took a full chest blast. But it was the funniest thing. They had the director had they wanted to recreate the murder, and so they got a deputy with a 1890 Remington double-barrel 12-gauge shotgun. Okay, and they were going to shoot me from 20 feet away. And I'm on the front, veranda of the plantation. And I asked the director, "Did y'all check this out? I mean, did y'all test, have a test shooting?"
Didn't want an Alec Baldwin moment.
Or Jason Lee's son.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, with Jason Lee. And so they looked at each other, the producer and the director. They go, "You haven't you?" I go, "No, I haven't." So they tested it out, and I got shot. And they zoom in on me. They put blood on everything on me, and they put the camera in right up. I'm thinking to myself, I'm laying there. You'll see it on the screen. I hope my nose is clear. It's like I don't want them to zoom in on me, And it was fun working with the guys from Ghost Adventures. It was a fascinating case that they investigated. They had a lot of activity, and it was fun talking to them about all our experiences there previously. My wife Karen and I went there for our 10th anniversary in 1984, and we goes to a haunted house on their 10th anniversary. Yeah, right. So, anyway,
So that's all you can eat bucket.
Yeah.
You just keep going back up there and filling it up.
So anyway, we went there the first night, didn't get any sleep. We were so active that they asked us to be on My Ghost Story on Arts and Entertainment Network, and we went out to California to film it. And we talked about our experience there. And so overall, I've been on America's Spookiest Homes on HGTV. I've been, like I said, the Discovery and Netflix and everything. And it's the same color subject. They're all asking me about the Myrtles Plantation. And I have some of the most iconic photos taken there that are shown all over the world. And so I became a guest on these shows. But that's just something they do. I enjoy that. I mean, you don't get paid for those things. I think I got $115 for doing the episode on Netflix.
And not even airfare.
Yeah. And yeah.
Well, you don't think I'm paying you for this?
Oh, really?
You might get a hamburger.
Where's the door?
You just pay for the lettuce and the tomato.
But I've been doing this and steady investigating for 40 years now. I got away from it, marriage, having a kid, starting a business and things like that. And then what sparked...
Let me interrupt, by the way. Hats off to your son. Thank him for his service. I've been knowing him since he was a baby. Appreciate everything he does for the country. Go ahead.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, he did 9 combat intel tours in the sandbox for over 20 years. And that's an only child, so thank you. I appreciate that. Your son's doing good over here. This is a success. This is great setup. Nice setup. So I've been doing it 40 years, and I get phone calls from people. I worked with different groups beyond Paladin Paranormal. Actually, I got a phone call from Steve Blaze of Lily and Axe. I'm not familiar with them, but they're iconic band that used to be on MTV. He was looking to do a TV show about the paranormal, and he asked me if I would like to join him back in 2013. And we filmed several episodes, and Access TV was interested in having us come on their network. We were gonna have a show called Ghosts and Guitars.
Ghosts and what?
And Guitars.
Oh.
And Steve is a well-renowned guitarist and stuff, and he was able to get some guests like Alice Cooper. I didn't realize he's friends with Alice Cooper, Sammy Hagar, Ludacris, and all the other. And what
I think everybody's friendly here.
Yeah. And then we were going to go investigate haunted musical locations around the country. And the board of directors approved it. Even Mark Cuban, the owner of the network from Shark Tank, he liked the idea. It's great. So we're on our way. This is it. This is the door open. We're going to be doing some great things. And the next thing I would get a phone call. Mark Cuban came in this morning, decided he didn't want any paranormal shows or cooking shows on his network. And so, boom, so that was the end of that. But we're still working together. I mean, I work with Steve, but I broke off and I joined the Louisiana Spirits for about a year, and now I'm back doing Paladin Paranormal. And more of a paranormal investigator. I mean, I probably piss people off in the paranormal field because there are ghost hunters out there, and then there's paranormal investigators. And people who would just like to go out and spend a night on a location so they can, brag to their friends that they spent a night on a location. But some of these groups that are out there are kind of ruining the whole science of it, because they'll go in and cause all kinds of problems at a resident's house. And then they leave these people, in their situation probably even worse than what it was before. And they really shouldn't be doing what they're doing. And there's a lot of good people out there doing the right stuff. They investigate the history and they look for the sources. And there's so many different reasons why these things happen. It's like I said earlier, it's maybe just laws of physics. But there's more to it than that. There's more to life than meets the eye, I'm sure.
Well, I'm waiting for her to make her way back over here, and maybe I can grab that bowl from her and show everybody what's going on. But she might not have a minute left by the time she gets over here.
Maybe not.
But this is what they do. They just walk around the restaurant all day, all night, and they just bring out bowls or something and say, "Here, you want more? You want more? You want more?" And I don't remember exactly what the price was, but it's not that expensive for all you can eat. Believe me.
He's walking around like Santa Claus, handing out crabs to everybody.
Right. Was that crabs? I don't know.
I assumed it was. Or maybe shrimp.
All you can eat $21.95, and that's snow crab, ball shrimp, barbecue blue crab, fried shrimp, catfish, and frog leg. And once again, what do they do with the frog body? Have you ever been in a restaurant that says frog bodies?
Maybe it's in the gumbo.
Or maybe you just got a lot of frogs running around in wheelchairs.
Handicapped frogs.
I don't know no legs.
I saw a Larson cartoon with that.
You see, they were supposed to put a shelf up here in that corner and a shelf up here in that corner. I got two of those cameras, and then we'd have it like this. But he didn't. And I got the wire and everything in the car. He was supposed to run that, but he hadn't done that. They're so busy at nighttime. They close at 2 o'clock, and then they reopen at 5. And at 5 o'clock, when they open it, there's 15, 20 people outside.
Really?
Just waiting to get in, and then they just start packing it.
Can't be that kind of advertisement for people walking up there driving by. They've seen that many people
Oh,
around
he's
the
standing
restaurant.
outside,
Yeah.
and he had a
I know, I'd be curious about it if I drove by and there's people waiting to
phenomenal
get in.
clientele. I mean, if you look at
There's a pretty good crowd at lunch today.
well, yeah. But if you look at the reviews, all the reviews, it's got like a 4.5, and the two bad reviews, I believe, one was an employee that didn't quite make it in the beginning,
Or maybe the
and another one was a guy down the street. Yeah. Come here, darling.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Let me see that bowl.
I didn't get French fries in that, sweetie.
Oh, well, okay. I thought you had crabs in there.
French fries.
French fries. Okay. Kind of hard to do it.
I'm gonna come back and get you. I'm gonna come back with something else.
All right. Well, not for me, but for everybody. But anyway, so you've been listening to Dave Young. I'm enjoying this story.
I mean, the French fries.
Yeah, that's why I'm kind of, taking it away. Nobody wants to see you chew. But I do have some gum here, because I heard you say somebody had to put your gum up. And I brought the gum because I lost a crown the other day and cracked a tooth. And so I went to the dentist and he gave me amoxicillin. Is that? Yeah, amoxicillin. And I have an appointment Friday with him to, I don't know if he's going to just yank it out or, fix it or whatever, but it smells a little bit. You get bad breath, when you got that rotten tooth exposed.
Are you trying to tell me something?
No, I'm telling you me. I'm not accusing you of nothing. But anyway, let's get back to Dave, because I'm enjoying this more than I think everybody else. Let's see if I can get this to line up here. There you go. Steady as she goes. Is that better? There you go.
There we go.
I should have told you not to wear a tie, but
Well, I'm actually on the way to do some work. So.
Around here.
No, New Iberia.
You're like in the medical field. You repair machines.
I repair. I'm technically called a biomedical equipment technician. I own my own business since 1983. So we're 40 years doing the work. People say, why don't you retire, Dave? You're 72 years old. Why don't you do it? I enjoy the hell of it, and plus I'll keep doing this until I figure out what I want to be when I grow up.
And the phone keeps ringing.
And the phone keeps ringing.
That's what I told you.
And they pay me nicely.
Right.
So, and it's easy work, Just, it's a little stress sometimes.
Were you stressed out during COVID, fixing machines?
Actually, I was in the belly of the beast because my specialty is working on ventilators. And so I was there in several facilities around the state, repairing their equipment that broke and making sure everything was running right. So I saw a lot of that, and I could tell you stories, what respiratory therapists were telling me about the COVID thing and how, they felt that they were actually killing the patients.
Well, not that I want to change the subject off of what we're talking about, the COVID, but I will tell you this. My wife, which you know for 40 years or whatever, she, not 40, but a long time, she has always been the picture of health, unlike me. She's never had medical problems and all that. She got that shot, and within 2 weeks, she started having respiratory problems and RA problems. And I have to take her once a month to Baton Rouge. Now, we live in Mandeville, so I got to go once a month to Baton Rouge because that was the only RA doctor we could find at the time. And she has to get a shot. I don't know what the shot is. And she's got to go twice a month in Metairie and get another shot twice a month. And every Saturday, I give her a shot of Trick State, I think I pronounced that correctly. And she's got to take all these pills and everything for her RA. And as I told you when we were off the air, she's going today to see her orthopedic surgeon, and they're going to decide on whether or not they're going to, operate or cut this little bone out of her hand. Because she just can't function. And she was perfectly healthy before she got that first shot. And when she got the second shot, it was downhill, and she said, no more.
Yeah, I have a friend of mine that got the shot in the boost, and he's bedridden with neuropathy now. And I've heard so many horror stories. I, for one, never got the vaccination, which everybody's saying you were working on medical equipment. You were in rooms with patients that were dying of COVID. And yeah, I was there. I was in there. I was involved in that, but I never got the vaccine at all. And I was threatened of losing contracts because I refused to get the shot. And I said, you want to fire me in the middle of this pandemic? Who's going to work on
find somebody else to come do this?
Yeah, who's going to work on your ventilators and stuff? And I saw things, and I could share things, but it's a sad time in our history where, it didn't take much for people to turn in their neighbors, and it was, you wonder if that ever happens again, what will happen. So we're fine now. I mean, I've heard stories like at a hospital in Covington, they had a couple came in, they were both 61 years old, and on Sunday evening, and by Tuesday, they were both dead from COVID, and they died an hour apart from each other. And I firmly
after they got the shot.
Yeah, I firmly believe that they, probably one passed away and probably went to the other, spouse and said, "Come on, let's go." And because within an hour, and 61 years old is young, and they both died of COVID. So, and then there was the 94-year-old man over at the hospital who was in ICU for like 3 weeks. He was on a ventilator, and he walked out of the hospital. So it's just, you never know how this thing's going to affect different people.
Well, I know in probably 50 to 100 years, you and I will not be here, but somebody else will be talking about the paranormal, and there will be a lot of COVID stories.
Yeah. People ask me, because how come there's always ghosts from the 1800s? How come there's nobody out there, banging on Britney Spears, right, in the middle of the night haunting a house or something to that effect? I think it's a very good question. It's funny how that works out. I think it's more people are aware now of what's going on when people die. Back in the day, it was such, people died and you didn't know what was going on. But, I always say I'm going to be a good ghost because, I know how to, scare people. But you don't want me haunting your house. I'll be able to, cause problems and do things to communicate with them, and it'd be kind of fun to do.
Well, but I have cameras all around my house, so the ghosts don't show up in the cameras, though, right?
No, well, I mean, my priest advisors tell me the only thing that doesn't show up on camera are demonic entities. They can't be recorded. They can't be shown on film. It's something that they just don't want to do that. And over the years, I kind of agree with that. I mean, I've been in demonic situations before where the camera gets lost. We'd be up in the attic and pointing at a certain spot that this evil that emanates evil, this shadow man. And we put a camera on that spot and let it run, hopefully, to catch something. And not only was the camera knocked off at first in the middle of the night, first of all, it went up, and I had it taped down, and it went up. It's not like gravity caught it and was going down. It was going up. And it ended up, from the ceiling of the attic. And then I didn't know that until I grabbed the camera next day, and it was like I have this all in my hands, and I'm coming out of the attic, and I'm closing the door, and I'm going down the steps. All of a sudden, the door opens up again and slams shut, like it was telling me, "Hey, you thought you caught me," and you did. And so.
Oh, let's take a picture. Yeah, hold that, but be careful. No, hold the plate. All right, there you go. And she just walks around and hands those out to people. Isn't that you?
She's like a Santa Claus.
You want a piece?
Yeah, take a look.
Knock your lights out.
Give me another one if you want.
No, I don't want to grease your hands while I'm doing that.
No, I'm fine, thank you.
All right.
So, look,
Have a good day. Thank you.
48 minutes with Dave Young. I've been hiding over here in the corner. I like to get my face out there every once in a while. But that's okay, because I am thoroughly enjoying this.
Oh, thank you.
I'm going to invite him back again, you know, next month or whatever. We don't want to have him every week, because then it'll become the Dave show, not the Ray show. Or maybe the Ray and Dave. They used to have a Bob and Ray. You remember that back in the day?
Yeah, Bob and Ray, yeah.
Bob and Ray?
Yeah,
But it was already Bob.
they're kind of a droll comedic act. Yeah,
Right. So we're coming up to the end of the show. I'm gonna give you like maybe 5 more minutes if you wanna, you know, give out the name and the website again. I know you're on the Facebook. I know you got a website coming. Have you written anything? You got any books out there? You're gonna write a book?
I have.
The Killing of the Ghost.
I've been working on a book for a long time. I'm trying to figure out how to do it. It's like it could be a droll, like this is what happened, or do I want to change it into sort of a, fictional or non-fictional kind of a creative non-fiction. But I've been writing stories down about my experiences, and somebody said, well, just put them together and just kind of, blend them in, and mostly about haunted hospitals. You'd be surprised how many hospitals got ghosts.
No, I wouldn't.
Maybe you wouldn't be surprised. I mean,
I've been in a lot of them.
Yeah, there's one over there in Covington. It's called it's right behind the Lowe's off of 190, and it's quite haunted. It used to be the
Crestwood.
yeah,
Crestwood.
It's right.
I used to live right there. It was Crestwood subdivision.
Right, and that PAL unit, that's a post-operative surgery.
Right. And we used to always hear stories about that place.
Well, it used to be a DePaul's adolescent psych prison, basically. It was out in the country. Nobody bothered anybody. It was surrounded by a wire fence and stuff. And so now it's a hospital. And
rehab, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a rehab. It's like a post-operative kind of thing,
right.
Ambulatory kind of thing. And it's haunted, quite haunted. Matter of fact, the administration told me that, I posted an experience that I had in there when I was doing some checks of some equipment. And apparently my story went around the hospital and such, and everybody was agreeing with it. Oh yeah, this place is definitely haunted. So if you go into that place, just make sure they're harmless. They just like to, act out. Most of them are, adolescents or children or something. They like turning on faucets and
and cameras. You brought a few of them with you.
Well, I had a case in Bush, Louisiana, and a mother and daughter, 80-year-old daughter and mother who is a single mom, a divorced mom. And they were having activity, things going bump. They would hear things moving around in the attic, and they would see shadow moving about and stuff. And so went into it just kind of open-minded and stuff. And I did not know what I was walking into, but we got a sample of it the first night. I went on with another crew, and they asked me to, keep the girl busy and talk to her and stuff, and because they'd like to interview her too. And in the meanwhile, they were talking to the mother. And I was asking the girl, hey, what school do you go to? Just small talk. I don't know how to talk to an 8-year-old girl that way. And she goes, you want to see my arrowhead collection? I said, yeah, sure. Let's bring it in. So she comes out with this cigar box full of arrowheads.
You might want one. You want one?
What is that?
Oh, you got catfish?
I'll take a look. You can just put it right here. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. And so she...
Free food never turned that down.
Yeah, never turned food down. So anyway, she brings out this cigar box full of arrowheads and spearheads and stuff. And I said, wow, where did you get these? Your grandpa, your daddy gave them to you? No, my Indian friend told me where to dig them up in the backyard. And I'm like, excuse me? Apparently this Indian, Native American that she could only see and nobody else could see, would point her around the yard and point out areas for her to get over herself out. Now she's 3 years old, right? And she's digging up these arrowheads everywhere. And the family told me they watched her, doing this. And she's talking to somebody. Next thing you know, she's digging up something. And I go, honey, tell me what's going on in this house. She goes, there's a bad man. And I said, what do you mean there's a bad man? He knocks on my window and wants me to let him in. And I pull the covers over my head. And I don't want to talk to him. But then he's in my room and he's mad at me. He's yelling at me. He's saying some really bad things, really nasty things. And the mother told me they were sexual in nature, that even, nobody at that age would know about. And so it was her turn to get interviewed. And prior to that, before we met there, we met with a medium, and she says there's a Jeffrey there. This woman came from Dallas. She didn't know anything about
This
the
was
house.
how long ago?
This is 2006. 2006, about a year after, not quite a year after Katrina. Hurricane Katrina, but the medium says that Jeffrey's been trying to get in touch with her ever since she's got off the plane. So I'm asking these people, like, who's Jeffrey? And they don't know. I said, what is about this place? I said, well, we know there was a murder that took place in the house, and the family, the mother and daughter, experiencing it. So later on that evening, this medium from Dallas decides she wants to interview the little girl. And so she's asking her questions and stuff. Now, the little girl's getting kind of upset. She's getting, she's getting tired. It's getting late. I said, I got everything on tape. I interviewed her. I asked her questions and everything like that. So, and the medium goes, wait. I want to ask her one more question. She says, honey, can you tell us anything more about this man? And she looks up and she said, his name is Jeffrey. And at that moment, the ceiling fan above her head went full propeller mode. And they heard up in the attic, boom, 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 like somebody was stomping through the attic. And everybody's looking at each other like, WTF, what is the hell is going on here? And the mother goes, see what happens? This is what's been going on in this house. But the little girl knew the name Jeffrey. I mean, the medium and her had not been.
Wasn't Epstein, huh?
Yeah, he did that Jeffrey. Yeah. It could have been.
He didn't kill himself.
He was still alive at that point in time. But so the lady goes, I'm so happy you're here. Well, the group that was with me, they were from all out of town. They go, well, we're out of town. Dave here has a local group. He can help you. And I go look at him and go, oh, thanks. Okay, I appreciate it. And I said, give me some time to set up, get some people and stuff, equipment and stuff, and I'll come here and we'll start investigating and try to find it. I'll spend some time researching, which I did. I spent a lot of time in the courthouse. And the first night we were setting up, let me backtrack. The murder that took place there in 1993, a man beheaded his mother in the house using a steel electric guitar. I read the autopsy report. She was beaten to a pulp. It was unrecognizable as a human. With further research, it turns out, I found out from the family that he was bought by a neighbor, bought as a baby for $100 by the woman who adopted him. And apparently, allegedly, that she was using him for sexual purposes and stuff and renting him out to pedophiles and things like that. She was a witch. She was also a prostitute. So, I don't know. These are the stories I heard amongst the family, so I have no idea if I'm spreading lies, but I got that from multiple family members. So she called him, said, come on, give me a glass of water. And he was outside in the shed. And he came inside, and I listened to the confession that he had. That it was an hour after he was after he was arrested. He says, why did you do it? He said, I don't know. He said, I just looked at her and I just wanted to hit her because she was trying to put me back on my medicines. He was taking massive amounts of Thorazine because he was being treated for schizophrenia. And he just swung and hit her, and the cop asked him how many times he hit her. I don't know.
It must have been about hundreds.
And he said, until her brain was in her lap, is what he said. And it's horrible. It's horrible. I wouldn't wish that on anybody, but my God, I mean, if it's true what she was doing, it's horrible too. Anyway, so we're setting up that night, the very first time we're there, and the phone rings. And the little girl, she's across the room, she goes, "That's Duke." Now, Duke is the guy who murdered his alleged mother. I put mother in quotes. And I said, "What?" And so the client picked the phone up, and yes, and then she screamed and threw the phone down and disconnected. And I said, "What was all that about?" That was Duke calling from prison. He wanted to know what you guys are doing in his house.
How did he know?
How did he know? He was at Hunt's Correctional Institute, 100-some miles away. How did he know that we were in his house?
Well, we're going to let you tell about that the next time you come on.
I will do that.
We're about running out of time. I want to tell everybody thank you for tuning in. And you can get us at the ybhmenu.com, or you can get us at rayanderson.com. Remember, it's W-R-A-Y, not R-A-Y. You want to say anything in closing? Give a shout out to your wife or your kids? Or?
Well, I'm always shouting out to them one way or another, but if you go to Facebook, go to paladinparanormal.com, PALADIN.com, and go into the album section of the photographs. Then you can see a lot of the photographs that I've captured over the years. And I've sent them off to different experts and stuff, and I had them analyzed. And they came back, they're the real deal. They're not, imprints or any kind of insertions using Photoshop or anything like that, which I wouldn't do anyway. I wouldn't even know how to use that. Just give a shout out. Go in there and like the page. I'd appreciate it. It's Paladin Paranormal, PALADIN Paranormal.
All right. And so we hope to see you next week, next Wednesday, same time, 11:30, same place, Yellow Brick House. You can come on in. You want to ask some questions. We want to take your questions and give you whatever answer we can give you. And hope to see you then. And hopefully that this mouse and camera and internet problem goes away. Wray out.
Hey, are you hungry? Then I might suggest the Yellow Brick House in Denham Springs. At the Yellow Brick House, we're open for breakfast and lunch Monday through Thursday, 6 a.m. to 2 p.m., and Sunday brunch, 9 a.m. to 2 p.m., and they're closed on Fridays and Saturdays. For breakfast, enjoy our cinnamon rolls, biscuits, sausage biscuits, egg and cheese biscuits, omelets, and much more. And for lunch, we feature filet mignon sandwich, an 8-ounce chuck burger dressed as you like, and the best daily specials around, like black and prime rib, bang bang shrimp, pan-ade chicken, beef stew, fried chicken, and more. The Yellow Brick House, 535 Florida Avenue, Denham Springs. And then there's Sunday brunch, always spectacular. You're thinking in a grand hotel. The Yellow Brick House, 535 Florida Avenue, Denham Springs. We encourage you to relax and let us do the cooking. Enjoy our breakfast and daily specials. Hours Monday through Thursday, 6 a.m. to 2 p.m., Sunday brunch, 9 a.m. to 2 p.m., and we're closed on Fridays and Saturdays. The Yellow Brick House, 535 Florida Avenue, Denham Springs, or call ahead, 225-271-4331. And remember, we have a drive-thru.